I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know.
We have always said it is about children. It's not just about me. Never just made it about me. I'm just the loudest one.
The entertainment industry is no stranger to secrets, but what happens when those secrets begin to unravel, tying together some of Hollywood's most powerful figures? Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sean Diddy Combs, three iconic names that have shaped headlines in their unique ways, are now being linked in a swirl of controversy. While their carefully crafted public personas have stood the test of time, murmurs about their alleged connections are beginning to tell a very different story. Once these whispers come to light, it might just change the way you see these stars forever.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
Let's start with Sean Diddy Combs, the flashy mogul whose name is synonymous with luxury, power, and influence. From his groundbreaking music career to ventures in fashion, television, and beyond, Diddy has built an empire that once seemed untouchable, but recent legal troubles, dominating headlines, are now shaking the entertainment industry to its core. The allegations against him aren't just career-threatening, they're dragging others into the spotlight as well. This brings us to Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg. Public reaction is divided, with many questioning how these household names might be connected to the controversy. Oprah, long celebrated as the queen of daytime television and a media powerhouse, has always cultivated an image of integrity and empowerment. But rumors of her ties to controversial figures have lingered for years. Her past friendship with Harvey Weinstein raised eyebrows when his predatory behavior came to light, and now, as Diddy faces intense scrutiny, she continues to advance her career. Oprah's previous associations with him are being re-examined. Could she have known more than she's let on? Or worse, was she complicit in a culture she's publicly denounced? Then there's Whoopi Goldberg, a Hollywood icon known for her sharp wit and no-nonsense opinions on The View. Reports suggest she and Oprah were once frequent attendees at Diddy's infamous gatherings, extravagant, exclusive events attended by some of the world's most powerful figures. These weren't ordinary parties. They were over-the-top affairs shrouded in mystery. With a flood of allegations now coming to light, questions are swirling about just how deep these connections run. The public fascination with these revelations is growing, and it's clear this story is far from over.
People online are split about this.
For years, Diddy's legendary gatherings were the talk of the entertainment world. Lavish settings, star-studded guest lists, and an air of secrecy that left the public endlessly curious. But according to insiders, these events were far more than glamorous parties. They were centers of influence where deals were struck, power was brokered, and allegedly, boundaries were crossed. Wests were reportedly required to sign strict confidentiality agreements upon arrival, a practice that only deepened the intrigue surrounding what truly happened behind closed doors. Among those rumored to have attended these exclusive affairs were none other than Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg, adding fuel to the fire of speculation.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happened.
Images of Oprah and Diddy together have circulated online for years, capturing the two laughing and mingling at high-profile events. At the time, these moments seemed harmless. It's Hollywood, after all. But now these photos are being re-examined under a more critical lens. Could these seemingly innocent interactions point to a deeper connection? And if so, what does that mean for Oprah's carefully crafted image as a champion of truth and justice? It's not the first time Oprah has faced scrutiny for her associations. Her ties to Harvey Weinstein came under fire when reports revealed she had been one of his staunch supporters, even as allegations against him began to surface. Critics accused her of turning a blind eye to his misconduct, prioritizing her career and connections over accountability. Though Oprah eventually distanced herself from Weinstein, the backlash left a lasting mark. Out with Diddy's name dominating headlines, those old controversies are resurfacing. As whispers of her connections to powerful but controversial figures gain traction, questions are being raised about the integrity behind Oprah's public persona.
I would say, Oprah Winfrey, you know what you need to do and stop hiding behind what you call was negative.
Whoopi Goldberg, on the other hand, has largely managed to avoid scandal throughout her career. Until now. Her connections to Diddy have always been more understated, but recent reports suggest she was a regular attendee at his exclusive gatherings. While Whoopi has never hesitated to speak her mind, her silence on this matter has been striking. Is she trying to distance herself from the fallout? Or is there more to the story than she's letting on? Complicating matters further is the broader context of Hollywood's tightly knit power circles. Diddy's gatherings weren't just lavish parties, they were networking hubs for the rich and powerful. Attendees reportedly included A-list celebrities, influential executives, and even political figures. The allure of these events was undeniable, but so was the veil of secrecy surrounding them. Now, as more details begin to surface, it's becoming increasingly clear that these gatherings may have been far more sinister than anyone imagined. The question remains, how deep do the connections run, and what role did Whoopi and others play in this complex web of power and privilege?
Thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries.
One insider described Diddy's gatherings as the kind of place where deals are made, but not the kind you'd want your name attached to. According to the source, the guest lists were meticulously curated to include only the most influential individuals. But with great power comes responsibility, or at least it should. As these allegations come to light, the pressing question remains, who knew what, and when did they know it? For Oprah, the stakes couldn't be higher. Her brand is built on trust, on the idea that she's a beacon of hope and inspiration. However, these new revelations threaten to tarnish that carefully cultivated image. If Oprah was aware of what happened at Diddy's gatherings, or worse, if she played any role in enabling it, it could mark a turning point in her career. While she has denied any wrongdoing, the court of public opinion is far less forgiving, and Miss Grants will not let rest till her hideaway from her immediate care. This disaster put Whoopi Goldberg, too, finds herself in a precarious position. Her outspoken nature has garnered her both admiration and criticism over the years, but this latest controversy could alienate even her most loyal supporters. If she's found to have been complicit in any way, it would deal a devastating blow to her reputation. Though Whoopi has yet to comment publicly, her silence is being interpreted by some as telling, and it only adds to the growing speculation.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't have anything against Oprah.
You just called up.
I'm gonna tell you why.
You named your dog Oprah, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
As more details emerge, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. Diddy's legal troubles are just the tip of the iceberg, and the ripple effects are already being felt throughout Hollywood. While Oprah and Whoopi may not be at the center of the allegations, their connections to Diddy have placed them under intense scrutiny. In an industry where image is everything, this kind of attention can be career-altering. What's particularly striking is how this story underscores the interconnectedness of Hollywood's elite. Diddy, Oprah, and Whoopi are just three names in a vast web of influence that extends far beyond the entertainment industry. Despite their seemingly different public personas, their shared connections suggest a deeper level of complicity. As more individuals come forward with their stories, that web is beginning to unravel. This isn't the first time Hollywood's power players have faced scrutiny, and it won't be the last. But what sets this story apart is the sheer scale of the allegations and the prominence of the figures involved. For years, there have been whispers about what really goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world. Now those whispers are turning into full-blown revelations, and the fallout is only just beginning.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
As the dust continues to settle, one can't help but wonder how many more names will be pulled into the spotlight. Diddy's downfall has already implicated some of Hollywood's most prominent figures, and the ripple effects are likely to spread even further. For Oprah and Whoopi, the stakes couldn't be higher. Their legacies hang in the balance, and the public is watching their every move. Whether they'll emerge unscathed remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the era of Hollywood's untouchable elite may be coming to an end, and this is just the beginning. As more details about Diddy's legal troubles come to light, the intricate connections between some of the entertainment industry's most powerful figures will only grow clearer. What other secrets lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered? And how will Hollywood reckon with the fallout? Stay tuned. This story is far from over.
The U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
Here's where things get even messier. While Diddy's recent arrest has brought shocking accusations to light, threatening to dismantle his empire, it's also pulling back the curtain on a hidden world of power, influence, and deep connections that run through Hollywood. The more you dig into these allegations, the more names start to emerge. It's about a network of individuals who may have been complicit, whether through silence or active participation. And the names being linked to this unfolding scandal aren't minor players. We're talking about some of the most prominent and influential figures in entertainment, including Oprah Winfrey, and even members of Diddy's own inner circle who operated behind the scenes. As the story continues to unravel, it's becoming clear that the implications reach far beyond one man. They threaten to expose an entire system of power and secrecy in the industry.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
Let's begin with Diddy's legal troubles, which appear to be just the tip of the iceberg. The charges against him are nothing short of explosive, with authorities alleging that he used his vast business empire to orchestrate a series of deeply troubling activities over the years. From his iconic record label Bad Boy Records to his numerous other ventures, it's being suggested that Diddy wasn't merely running businesses. He was managing a carefully crafted operation designed to shield his reputation while exerting control over those around him. According to the indictment, this alleged behavior isn't recent. Prosecutors claim it spans more than a decade, painting a picture of a man who operated as though he were untouchable. The accusations are shaking the foundations of his empire and sparking questions about the extent of his influence and those who may have enabled his actions.
We are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
Here's where things take a truly dark turn. While Diddy himself is facing the bulk of these allegations, the fallout is extending to everyone in his orbit. Longtime collaborators, associates, and even friends are now being forced to confront their own potential complicity. Take Rodney Lil Rod Jones, for example, a former producer who worked closely with Diddy. In a shocking lawsuit, Jones has made some startling claims, alleging that Diddy not only pressured him into participating in inappropriate activities, but also demanded that he document everything on video. According to Jones, Diddy used hidden cameras in his homes and recording studios to capture compromising footage of his guests, footage that allegedly included some of Hollywood's most powerful figures. Jones claims that these recordings were Diddy's way of holding leverage over those in his circle. Think about it. If you had secret videos of celebrities or executives engaging in behavior they wouldn't want made public, you'd have a powerful tool to keep them in check. Jones asserts that Diddy used these recordings to silence potential whistleblowers and ensure that no one dared speak out against him. The details are chilling, and if true, they suggest a level of manipulation that goes far beyond anything we've seen in previous Hollywood scandals. It paints a disturbing picture of an empire built not just on power, but on control, and a complete disregard for those caught in its web.
And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on watch.
But what about the people who attended these gatherings? Surely they must have known something was wrong. After all, it's hard to believe that anyone could attend one of Diddy's infamous parties without noticing that things weren't exactly above board. And yet, many of the guests reportedly turned a blind eye, whether out of loyalty, fear, or self-preservation. This is where Oprah's name starts to resurface as a powerful figure with long-standing ties to Diddy. Her connections to these events are now under scrutiny. Could she have been aware of the troubling behavior taking place behind closed doors? Or did she, like many others, choose to ignore the signs in favor of maintaining her own position in Hollywood's elite circle? As more details come to light, the question remains, how deep did the complicity go? And how many other high-profile figures turned a blind eye in order to protect their own interests?
You have a couple of pets as well, a dog and a cat with interesting names, to say the least.
That's Oprah.
That's Oprah. Okay.
Oprah has been photographed with Diddy on multiple occasions, and while their relationship has largely been portrayed as professional, questions are now being raised about how much she knew about his private life. Some sources claim that Oprah attended several of Diddy's exclusive events, where guests were required to sign strict confidentiality agreements. These gatherings, often described as over-the-top and extravagant, were reportedly shrouded in secrecy, with only the most trusted individuals invited. But with the recent allegations against Diddy, people are beginning to wonder, were these events more than just lavish parties for the rich and famous? This isn't the first time Oprah's judgment has come under scrutiny. Her close friendship with Harvey Weinstein has long been a source of controversy, particularly after it was revealed that she continued to associate with him even after rumors of his predatory behavior began circulating. Critics have accused Oprah of turning a blind eye to Weinstein's actions, and now, with her name linked to Diddy, those same criticisms are resurfacing and are severely damaging act which has surfaced to demonstrate that beneficial changes can actually be more than just coincidences. And if so, what does that reveal about her role in Hollywood's culture of silence and complicity? The questions are mounting, and the answers could reshape the narrative of one of the entertainment industry's most influential figures.
Public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
Then there's the case of Brendan Paul, a young man who worked as one of Diddy's assistants. Paul was arrested earlier this year at a Miami airport when authorities allegedly discovered suspicious substances in his luggage. While the charges against him were relatively minor, the incident has sparked renewed attention about his role within Diddy's operation. According to court documents, Paul was one of several employees responsible for carrying out Diddy's orders, no matter how questionable they might have been. This included tasks like arranging transportation, managing logistics, and, according to some sources, ensuring that no one outside of Diddy's inner circle discovered what was really happening behind closed doors. The arrest has raised new questions about the nature of Diddy's business practices and the loyalty demanded of those around him. As more details emerge, it's becoming clear that Paul's role may have been far more integral to the larger picture than anyone initially realized.
What his team is trying to do is get the public to assume that the government is leaking some of this negative information about him, like that Cassie video. But the reality is, he's got a lot of enemies. And
Paul's arrest has also cast a spotlight on other members of Diddy's team, many of whom are now facing increased scrutiny for their potential involvement. Some insiders have suggested that Diddy's employees were not just passive participants, they were active collaborators who helped him maintain control over his empire. While it's unclear how much they knew about the full extent of his activities, their silence has raised serious questions about their accountability. What's even more concerning is the role of non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, in all of this. According to multiple reports, Diddy required anyone who attended his events or worked for him to sign strict confidentiality agreements. These NDAs, which were reportedly enforced with the threat of legal action, ensured that no one could speak out without facing severe consequences. This tactic has long been used by powerful figures in Hollywood, but in Diddy's case, it appears to have been especially effective in silencing those around him. As the investigation deepens, it remains to be seen how many others will be implicated and whether these agreements will be enough to shield those involved from the growing fallout.
You have bullies in this business, and the bullies are so used to being bullies, they don't understand when somebody bite back.
Right.
And not bark back, they bite back.
This brings us back to Oprah and Whoopi. Both women have built their careers on the idea of speaking truth to power, yet their connections to Diddy suggest a level of complicity that's hard to reconcile with their public personas. Oprah, in particular, has faced criticism for her role in promoting individuals who later turned out to be deeply problematic. From Harvey Weinstein to spiritual healer John of God, Oprah has been accused of using her platform to legitimize figures who have since been accused of serious wrongdoing. Now, with Diddy's name added to that list, her credibility is once again being called into question. Then there's Whoopi, whose outspoken nature has made her a beloved figure in Hollywood and beyond. But her silence regarding the Diddy scandal is deafening. While she's never shied away from controversy in the past, her decision not to address her connections to Diddy has left many wondering if she has something to hide. Could it be that, like so many others in Hollywood, Whoopi was aware of Diddy's behavior but chose to remain silent? And if so, what does that say about the entertainment industry as a whole? The questions are mounting, and the answers could have far-reaching implications.
You're not done, and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
As the investigation into Diddy's activities unfolds, it's clear that more names will surface and the web of connections will only grow more tangled. But one thing is certain, the days of Hollywood's untouchable elite may be coming to an end. Whether it's Oprah, Whoopi, or anyone else caught in the crossfire, the truth will eventually emerge. And when it does, the entertainment industry may never be the same. So, what do you think? Are Oprah and Whoopi guilty of turning a blind eye, or are they simply being dragged into a scandal that has little to do with them? More importantly, will Hollywood finally learn its lesson, or is this just another chapter in the never-ending cycle of power, corruption, and silence? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding story. This one is